In Valorant, choosing the right agent can make all the difference when it comes to dominating low elo. All of you love to mention in our comments that a good Reyna can absolutely take complete control over a game, while it feels like a lone Cypher is only capable of so much. Just based on the agent you pick alone, you'll likely determine how difficult a game is going to be. So that's why today we want to make it as easy as possible for you by sharing our top 5 picks for the best agents to dominate low elo with in Valorant. This isn't to say that other agents aren't playable, but by picking these specific 5 agents, you set yourself up best for success and be carrying in no time. But first, remember that mastering these agents is just one piece of the puzzle. To truly excel, you need to know not only what pieces to use, but also where to put them. At SkillCapped, we provide in-depth guides, expert coaching, all to help escalate your game and take you to the top levels where you can really start to compete. We'll get you up to date on all the pro strategies and tell you everything you need to know to carry your matches. With your site subscription, you also gain access to our Discord full of Radiant coaches looking to help you and also be able to submit your own games for review. If that sounds like something you need, be sure to check out SkillCapped and we'll see you there. Now, let's dive into the top 5 agents for dominating low elo in Valorant. Starting out with number 1, Killjoy is a formidable sentinel who excels at locking down sites and gathering crucial intel. Her turret and alarm bot are excellent at holding down key choke points to protect all the holes in your defense that your teammates will leave as they wander around aimlessly. She's like the safety net of the team. By spreading out your utility like this, it makes it very difficult for the attackers to push anywhere because your teammates will be able to stack and rotate around the map freely without having to worry about any lurkers surprising them. Don't even get me started on being able to swing off her turret. In many situations, Killjoy's turret can basically feel like it makes engagements a 2v1 due to its ability to pull the enemy's crosshair. What's more is that Killjoy's nanoswarms are the perfect tool for low elo because enemies tend to just funnel into sites without thinking too much about them. Now in low elo, it's even better because they almost forget what happened the previous round and run into your setups multiple times in a row in some games. The icing on the cake, of course, though, is Killjoy's ultimate Lockdown, which is easily one of the strongest ultimates in the game right now. Because there are a very limited amount of abilities that can kill her Lockdown right now in the game, the main ones coming from Brimstone and Sova, 2 agents that aren't incredibly prominent in the meta currently. Killjoy can get a ton of value on executes and retakes. In high elo, players will take into account when your team has Killjoy ultimate and attempt to make plans to counteract it. But in low elo, oftentimes you'll be elo to get the most free ultimates off without the enemies really knowing what to do about it. Killjoy is definitely an agent that takes discipline for enemies to deal with, and in low elo, that's of scarce supply, so we highly recommend picking her up if you're looking to add an incredible agent to your arsenal. If you're looking for a strong defender and intel gatherer, look no further than Killjoy. On a similar note, another agent you could look at is Raze. Any agent who has the capability to get kills with abilities is generally going to be very strong in low elo, because players won't think about how to counteract it. Raze is no exception. Paint shells is the exact ability players think of when they think of low elo killers. Players just don't react enough to move out of them half the time, and even if they do, they'll probably lose half their HP and end up on their heels for the rest of the round. Combo this with a showstopper and you won't even have to aim. All you've got to do is look in their general direction and you'll pick up kills. Now, with the recent nerfs to Raze's boombot, it's not nearly as exceptional as it once was, but it's still a great tool for clearing out close corners and could easily still pick up kills on players as they're struggling to shoot it. And finally, Raze's satchels will make it even more difficult for players in low elo to land their shot. Trust us when we say Raze is a very frustrating agent to play against even in high elo. So, if the best players in the game are still struggling versus her, she'll be a breeze to pick up in low elo. Start playing Raze today and you won't regret it. Moving on to a bit more of an obscure pick. Yoru is a duelist who thrives on deception and misdirection, and boy is it easy to deceive and misdirect players in low elo. Yoru's decoy is able to get an incredible amount of value in these ranks because the players you're going against won't even think twice about it. You can use this basically as a Sova drone and follow up behind it. Then the moment someone shoots it, the decoy will point exactly in their direction and blind them with the longest flash in the game. And you know they're not going to turn away from it. We know Yoru has a high skill ceiling, but trust us when we say just a couple games on Yoru and you'll be running players over. Now that goes without saying that we have a really well done Yoru course on our website that can teach players all the little tricks they need to know as a Yoru player to start dominating in ranked, and it's really not as tough as you might think. You just gotta know the right tactics. Now, the decoy aside, players aren't just gonna react to his flashes or the audio from his gate crash and ult that fast. So, once you start playing Yoru, you'll realize you can kind of just do whatever you want and get away with it, at the very least up until Platinum. Trust us when we say, for players who enjoy mind games and outplaying opponents, Yoru is the perfect agent to start carrying in low elo, so pick him up today and you'll definitely thank us later. Another agent that thrives slightly on deception is our versatile controller, Omen. Omen can adapt to many different types of playstyles, making him a very excellent choice for all levels of ranked. Many players might complain about their team moving too slowly in ranked, but with Omen, that's not much of a problem, as even though you're a controller, you're also still capable of blinding and entering yourself. The classic paranoia to shrouded step combo, even today, is still killer for catching your opponents off guard, and you guessed it, in low elo, players will never be able to expect this, even after the third time you've done it to them. Sure, it is a bit cheesy, but you can get away with this stuff in low elo, so you might as well abuse it. And all of that aside though, Omen is still a controller, and with dark cover being able to smoke pretty much anywhere on the map, Omen is an invaluable agent to have on your team. While other agents like Brimstone or Viper might be restricted by range or positioning, Omen just doesn't have that issue. He's versatile and aggressive and easily one of the best controllers to take over a low elo match with. The one thing players might knock about Omen though is his ultimate, which at 7 charges might not feel like the best thing in the world, but hear us out on this one. If you're able to ult into powerful areas of the map to help your team pinch sites, it's actually not that bad. One of my favorite ult locations on Omen is A Heaven on Haven. From A Heaven, you can help your team pinch a site, and unless the enemy's playing up there, which frankly is very uncommon, it's pretty much a free site. Now, if this use isn't enticing, at the very least, Omen's ultimate can be thought of as spike insurance, where if your brain-dead teammates in low elo lose the spike somewhere, you can always ult to pick it up and go to the other site, making an unwinnable round at least slightly more winnable. Trust us when we say Omen is the perfect choice for players looking for a strong and adaptable controller for low elo, and we can't recommend him enough. Finally, moving on to our last agent you should be looking to play in low elo, Sova is a powerful initiator with a kit designed to take complete control over the battlefield. While Sova isn't as good as all the other initiators currently as a whole, there is one thing that we think makes Sova stand above all the others in low elo, and that is of course his recon dart. We're not even talking about using Sova's recon as a scouting tool either. Sure, that's a good use for it, but the best part about Sova's dart in low elo is that players will be very slow to shoot it. And as we mentioned before, they'll also likely make the same mistakes round after round. So what you can do, especially on defense, is wait for the enemies to start pushing onto sites, and then as soon as they're coming in, fire this baby on the wall and start playing aim labs on all the enemies getting pinged in front of you. This is even a difficult tactic to deal with in high elo at times, so you're absolutely going to run players over with this in low elo if you take advantage of it today. Now sure, you could do the same thing with Fade, but Sova's recon is much more difficult to shoot and also flies farther, meaning you can easily put it on the back of the wall wherever they're entering to really halt that push. There are of course other excellent parts of Sova's kit too. His shock darts are great to provide chip damage for your team, and his ultimate is also an excellent tool to get picks for your team throughout the round, or potentially win your team a round on post plant. Remember, we also mentioned earlier how there aren't a ton of agents who can deal with Killjoys, so that's another great reason why Sova is actually pretty good right now. Finally, of course, one last part of Sova's kit that's great is his Owl Drone. Although it doesn't last too long anymore, or ping quite as much, it's still a ton of free info, and could easily be a setup for an easy kill if the enemy is mispositioned enough. Overall, Sova is an excellent agent to play in low elo. He's simple and deadly, which is exactly the type of pick you're looking for in these ranks. Quit messing around and give Sova a shot today. And that's going to do it for our list today though. As a reminder, if you're looking to master any of these agents, we highly recommend you check out SkillCapped today to really get on your way to ranking up. We'll break down all the concepts you need to know and different tactics to make it super easy for you to start gaining ELO and hitting that rank that you've always wanted. We've invested thousands and thousands of hours into the game so that we can tell you all the things that are important for you to know and even the things that aren't important so you don't have to waste your time on them. Now, at the end of the day, that's why you hire a coach, right? To rank up faster. You could spend thousands of hours learning the same things we have, but that's just not worth it when there's such an easy solution right in front of your face. Check out SkillCapped today. Let us help you out. You won't regret it. As always, though, we'd like to thank you all for watching this one, and we'll catch you in the next one.